First of all, the patient was received in the operation theater and positioned comfortably on the operating table. Standard monitoring devices were attached, including ECG electrodes to monitor the heart, a pulse oximeter to measure oxygen saturation, and a blood pressure cuff to monitor blood pressure throughout the procedure. Through this four-line, the induction agents were administered. Induction agents are medications that bring the patient smoothly from an awake state to unconsciousness. They act rapidly and ensure that the patient does not experience pain or awareness during the surgery. After induction, a muscle relaxant was also given. The muscle relaxant serves two purposes. It helps in suppressing any involuntary movements and, more importantly, it facilitates the process of intubation by relaxing the muscles of the airway. Once the drugs were administered, the patient's level of consciousness and muscle relaxation were checked. At this stage, it is extremely important to pre-oxygenate the patient before attempting intubation. Pre-oxygenation is done to build up a reserve of oxygen in the lungs and bloodstream, because during intubation there may be a short period where the patient is not breathing adequately. By providing oxygen in advance, we can safely bridge this interval. For pre-oxygenation, a face mask was placed firmly over the patient's nose and mouth, and oxygen was delivered for approximately 3 to 5 minutes. This ensures that the patient's oxygen saturation is maximized before proceeding to the next critical step. During this time, we closely observed the pulse oximeter to confirm that oxygen saturation was maintained within the safe range, generally close to 100%. Once adequate pre-oxygenation was achieved, we proceeded with laryngoscopy. The laryngoscope is a specialized instrument with a handle and a blade that have a light source. It allows us to visualize the patient's airway directly and identify the vocal cords. The patient's head was positioned in this sniffing position, which aligns the oral, pharyngeal, and laryngeal axes for easier visualization. With gentle technique, the laryngoscope was inserted into the mouth and advanced carefully to lift the tongue and epiglottis. With the vocal cords clearly in view, an endotracheal tube, ETT, was prepared and advanced carefully through the vocal cords into the trachea. Care was taken to avoid trauma to the airway. Once the tube was in place, the laryngoscope was removed and the tube was connected to the breathing circuit. However, before fixing the tube permanently, it is critical to confirm its correct placement. Misplacement of the tube into the esophagus instead of the trachea can have dangerous consequences. Therefore, verification is always done in multiple ways. The first and most immediate method of confirmation is by observing chest movement and monitoring the capnography, if available. But in this case, we primarily relied on auscultation with a stethoscope. The stethoscope was placed on both sides of the chest, just below the clavicles, to listen for air entry. Equal breath sounds were heard bilaterally, which confirmed that the tube was correctly in the trachea and oxygen was reaching both lungs. Auscultation was also done over the epigastrium, the upper part of the abdomen, to ensure that there were no air sounds in the stomach, which would indicate accidental esophageal intubation. The staff inside the OT maintained strict aseptic protocols. Surgeons, nurses, and technicians wear sterile gowns, gloves, masks, and caps. This sterile atmosphere, combined with careful preparation, ensures that the surgical site remains free from contamination and that the risk of postoperative infection is kept as low as possible. With the patient anesthetized and the environment ready, the surgical procedure was started. After making the appropriate incision, a large cyst was carefully identified. The cyst was dissected, separated from surrounding tissues, and successfully removed. Once hemostasis was secured and the area was inspected for any remaining abnormal tissue, the attention of the surgical team turned to the appendix. The appendix removal, or appendectomy, was performed in the same operative session. The appendix is a small, tube-like structure attached to the large intestine, and in many cases, it can become inflamed or diseased. In this patient, it was decided to remove the appendix to prevent any future complications. The base of the appendix was after the completion of the surgery. The patient gradually started to regain spontaneous breathing. To maintain a clear airway and prevent any obstruction, gentle suctioning was performed to remove any secretions present in the mouth and trachea. This ensured smooth airflow and proper oxygenation during the recovery phase. Once the patient showed consistent respiratory effort, the endotracheal tube was removed carefully with the help of suction. Extubation was performed only after confirming that the patient had adequate breathing and was able to maintain oxygen saturation without support. This step is very crucial, as premature removal of the tube can compromise the airway. To confirm recovery and responsiveness, the patient was called by name and asked to follow simple commands. The patient responded appropriately by sticking out the tongue, showing that consciousness had returned and protective reflexes were intact. After confirming stable vital signs and full responsiveness, the patient was safely shifted out of the operation theater in a stable condition.
دي فرازه شاباس